Hello friends, today we are going to start the topic cloud deployment models, in which we are going to learn about the deployment models, the public, private, hybrid and community models, the introduction to the deployment models. The concept of deployment models in data science refers to the application of a model for production using a new data. Building a model is generally not the end of the project. Even if the purpose of the model is to increase knowledge of the data, the knowledge gained will need to be organized and presented in a way that the customer can use it. Depending on the requirement, the deployment phase can be as simple as generating a report or as complex as implementing a repeatable data science process. In many cases, it will be the customer and not the data analyst who will carry out the deployment steps. For example, a credit card company may want to deploy a trained model or set of models, for example, neural networks or meta learner, to quickly identify transactions which have a high probability of being fraudulent. However, if the analyst will not carry out the deployment effort, it is important for the customer to understand upfront what actions will need to be carried out in order to actually make use of the created models. Model deployment methods. In general, there are four ways of deploying the models in the data science, or we can say in the cloud computing. The first one is the data science tool or the cloud. Programming language is the second one. Languages can be Java, C, VB, etc. Database and SQL script. These can be the TSQL, PLSQL, etc. Third one is PMML. PMML is Predictive Model Markup Language. Cloud deployment architecture depends upon a number of factors such as the architectural option chosen, the scale of deployment, and the type of services provided. Private cloud implementations may be relatively simpler compared to the large scale, massive public cloud infrastructures that support hundreds or thousands of consumers. Most cloud deployments are massive and require mission critical infrastructure to achieve the performance, elasticity, and SLA goals. SLA is service level agreement. Now we can understand the cloud deployment models by taking a deployment view diagram from the Oracle point of view. We have this cloud deployment view. Here it is the cloud management. It has the platform as a service, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and then there's the cloud management. Then comes cloud services. Cloud services, we have the basic cloud services, that is infrastructures, software, and platform. Then comes the database machine, the database or the data storage server, then the infrastructure band, and then the database servers. These are then connected to the cloud hardware, which gives us the VM view. VM is the virtual machine view. Then this virtual machine view provides us a platform here for the software as a service or for the users. It is then connected to the data center service networks, which provides, again it provides the HTTP servers and the load balancer it has, and then it provides services or platform as a service to the users, in which we can access or develop and deliver the applications, or we can have the services of the software. Then next is the cloud computing deployment model. Now, these deployment model indicate how the cloud services are made available to the users. The four deployment models associated with the cloud computing are as follows. The first one is the public cloud. As the name suggests, this type of cloud deployment model supports all users who want to make use of computing resource such as the hardware. Hardware is operating system, CPU is central processing unit, memory, storage, etc. Or the software. Software is like the application server, the database, etc. on a remote location and not having it physically, and on a subscription basis. That means you can pay as much you are using, or you can pay for exactly the services we use. Most common uses of a public cloud are for application development and testing, non mission critical tasks such as file sharing and email services. As we use the Gmail services, we share file through Drive, and the email services, Gmail services. Then again, here the next cloud deployment model is the private cloud. True to its name, a private cloud is typically infrastructure used by a single organization. Single organization like the IT firms, which want to create their own cloud and keep the data to themselves for the security reasons. Such infrastructure may be managed by organization itself to support various users group, or it can be managed by service provider that take care of its either on site or off site. Private clouds are more expensive than public clouds due to the capital expenditure involved in acquiring and maintaining them. However, private clouds are better able to address the security and privacy concerns of the organization these days. Then comes the another deployment model, which is the hybrid cloud. In hybrid cloud, an organization makes the use of interconnected private and public cloud infrastructure. Many organizations make use of this model when they need to scale up their IT infrastructure rapidly, such as when leveraging public clouds to supplement the capacity available within a private cloud. For example, if an online retailer needs more computing resources to run its web application during the holiday season, it may attain those resources via the public clouds. Then comes the community cloud. It is the fourth deployment model. This deployment model supports multiple organizations sharing computing resources that are part of a community. Examples include universities cooperating in certain areas of research, or police departments within a country or a state sharing computing resources. Access to community cloud environment is typically restricted to the members of the community. Cloud computing deployment models has that with public cloud, the cost is typically low for the end user. There is no capital expenditure involved. Use of private cloud includes capital expenditure, but the expenditure is still lower than the cost of owning and operating the infrastructure due to private cloud's greater level of consolidation and resource pooling. Then, private cloud also offer more security and compliance support than the public clouds. As such, some organization may choose to use private cloud for their more mission critical, secure applications, and public clouds for basic tasks such as application development and testing environments and the email services. Choosing a cloud deployment model for a firm, as we have chosen the cloud service model that fits the need, you need to determine your cloud deployment model. You can choose from among public, private, community, and hybrid. Most people believe that hybrid cloud model is the model that will be used among most in the organizations. However, we must still consider which model is best for the organization. User experiences. The cloud offers different user experiences depending on which deployment model we choose. If we choose to go with a private cloud, we will complete control over the user experience. You will be able to control the application, the network, and in most cases, the client system. This allows you to tune everything for the best performance and usability. If you go with a public cloud, in some cases you might have no control over the user experience. In a community cloud environment, your control over the user experience depends on the agreement you have in place with the other members of the community. Choosing a cloud deployment model has certain concerns, like for security. Security is always a complicated topic. It's even more complicated when you are dealing with the cloud. It mainly comes down to trust. Whom do you trust with your security? Many organizations would rather trust a third party than trust themselves. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Security is such an important concern that you need to go with what you trust. Then comes the responsibilities. Now, responsibilities vary greatly depending on which cloud model you intend to go with. This can be another key factor in the decision. In fact, one of the big drivers of public clouds organizations' desire to reduce their internal responsibilities. To facilitate the choice of the appropriate deployment models of cloud computing, by opting for the ones with the most business critical features, we have a comparative table that provides an overall view of all the specific of each type. The comparative analysis of blessed cloud deployment models are, since we know we have four deployment models, that is public, private, community, and hybrid. Now the comparison between these as per the points are: ease of setup and use. Public cloud is easy to set up and easy to use. Private cloud, it requires IT proficiency. For community cloud, it also requires IT proficiency, and similar is for the hybrid cloud. The next point is data security and privacy. In public cloud, data security is low. For private cloud, data security and privacy is high. Community cloud, it is comparatively high. And then for the hybrid cloud also, it gives us a high amount of security and privacy. Data control. In public cloud, it is little to none. For private cloud, it is high. For community cloud, comparatively high, and similar is for the hybrid cloud. The next point is reliability. In public cloud, reliability is vulnerable. In private cloud, it is high. Community cloud, comparatively high, and hybrid cloud also gives us the high reliability. Then comes scalability and flexibility. For public cloud, the scalability and flexibility is high. Private cloud also provides high scalability and flexibility. Community cloud has a fixed capacity for scalability and flexibility. And hybrid cloud also provides high scalability and flexibility. Comes the cost effectiveness. In public cloud, cost effectiveness, it is the cheapest one. Private cloud, cost intensive, the most expensive one. Community cloud, cost is shared among community members. And hybrid cloud, cheaper than a private model but more costly than a public one. The next point is demand for in-house hardware. In public cloud, there is no demand for in-house hardware. In private cloud, it depends the amount of services we need. Similarly, it is in the community cloud and also in the hybrid cloud. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned to Ekeeda. Subscribe to Ekeeda.